From stories around the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. Good evening, I'm Sharon Masquinas.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charita Minipurarachi and here are today's headlines. The Mahasangha emphasizes winning the economic battle will not be a challenge to the President and the Prime Minister who defeated terrorism. MP Ranjan Ramanayaka granted bail. Overseas travel banned. Gold biscuits worth over 50 million rupees seized by the customs.
Now for those and other stories in detail, starting off with local news. The Mahasangha emphasizes the President-Prime Minister collaboration that was able to defeat terrorism will be able to win the economic battle as well. The prelates expressed these views after an all-night period chanting conducted at the President's house at Colombo Fort to invoke blessings on the President, the military personnel and the country yesterday. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and several ministers, parliamentarians and public officials were in attendance. The period chanting was conducted under the patronage of the Chief Prelate of the Narayanpita Abhayarama Sangha Nayaka of the Western Province, Venerable Muruthettuwe Anandathera. The Mahasangha emphasized that they are confident that the President and the Prime Minister will be committed to fulfill the aspirations of the entire public. Professor Venerable Mandagoda Thisathera observed that now the President and the Defence Secretary has changed, and as the President and the Prime Minister, they have the responsibility upon themselves to end the economic battle and also the battles that come from the international community. The Thera cautioned various enemy forces as well as enemy forces that come in the guise of friends may attempt to block the future path of the government. The prelate wished for the strength to befall upon the President and the Prime Minister to act cautiously and give life to the noble aspirations of the innocent people. The Thera said that the Mahasangha have got together in this way to invoke blessings for this purpose. Meanwhile, an almsgiving for the Sangha also took place at the President's house, presided over by the Chief Prelate of the Askiriya chapter, the Most Venerable Varakagoda Sri Jnana Ratana Thera, and the Anunayaka of the Malvatta chapter, the Venerable Nyangoda Vijita Siri Thera. Alms were distributed amongst 300 prelates of the Mahasangha, including Mahanayakas and the Anunayakas of the Thrai chapters. Chief Prelate of the Kotte chapter of the Siam Mahanikaya, the Venerable Dr. Ittapane Dhammalankara Thera said President Gotabaya Rajapaksa is an exemplary Buddhist who pays homage to the Triple Gem in the morning and in the evening, meditates whenever he gets the opportunity and does not consume meat. The Thera said the secret behind the President's victory is found in the principles he has preserved and his exemplary conduct. Therefore, the prelate said the Mahasangha and the public, irrespective of race and religion, are happy about the President's victory. Chief Prelate of the Sri Dharma Rakshita Mahanikaya of the Sri Lanka Amarapura Mahanikaya, Rajakiya Pandita Venerable Tirukunamale Ananda Thera said the President does not have personal objectives as he showers affection on the country, its people and the Sambuddha Shasana. The Thera further stated if the ministers and the parliamentarians and all officials act by taking note of this example of not having personal objectives, the country will automatically prosper. Solusma Sthanadipati Anunayaka of the Askiriya Viharaya chapter Venerable Vedaruwe Upali Thera said the President has now made the state sector properly meaningful. The Thera said in the meanwhile, the official activities of the state sector and their attitudes should be changed in a positive way.
And meanwhile, arrested MP Ranjan Ramanayaka was released on bail after being produced before the Nugayagoda Magistrates Court today. The MP was released upon two sureties of 500,000 rupees each whilst overseas travel was banned. He was arrested by the Colombo South Crimes Division yesterday for being in possession on a firearm without a valid license. The police yesterday inspected the MP's official residence at Madivala upon a warrant issued by the Nugegoda Magistrate Court. In the search, the police seized 127 9mm bullets and a firearm of which the license had expired. In addition, many CDs suspected to contain discussions pertaining to investigations carried out by the Financial Crimes Investigation Division and the Bribery Commission. A laptop and several documents were discovered. Investigations are underway to inquire into whether the MP had interfered with the investigations of these investigatory bodies. The body says that furthermore investigations are being conducted into whether influencing or conspiring with public officials has taken place with the intention of bringing the government to disrepute or to induce hate or cast insults on the meeting of justice. Investigations are also being conducted to find out whether the firearm and the cartridges that were found were used for a criminal purpose. Meanwhile, responding to a question raised by a journalist at a media briefing held in Kandy, Speaker Karo Jayasuriya said he was informed before MP Ranjan Ramanayake was arrested.
A clandestine discussion between Ranjan Ramanayake and Shani Abesekara has been revealed. State Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage says MP Ranjan Ramanayake is being arrested not for having firearms in possession. Information was received that the MP was in possession of CDs containing 121,000 telephone conversations recorded in the recent past. Thereby, upon obtaining a warrant from the courts, the CID seized the CDs. A CD also contains a conversation with IP Nishanta Silva. The State Minister said this conversation inquires into whether all preparations have been made, whether all files are in order, and details of the judge with regard to the arrest by Mahindananda Alutgamage. The State Minister says all these details are included in the CD, whilst the other conversations are with the DIG of the CID, Shani Abesekara, in which the MP inquired into arresting war heroes and the litigation in that respect, to which Shani Abesekara gives a response. MP Hirunika, MP Ranjan and the CID director are also collected in a telephone conversation on the proceedings, and promotions have also been discussed. The State Minister says thereby the MP's residence was searched and the MP was arrested upon charges of serious conspiracy and influencing the courts and the CID. Minister Dalasala Perumal says the country has needed the leadership it was seeking for. He expressed these views speaking at a ceremony held in Mathura today. Minister Dalasala Perumal said when a minister visits a village, there is no one to work at the police station on that day, as the visiting minister is escorted by the police personnel in front of him, at the back of him, on the left side and on the right side of him. However, now there isn't even a block cart to proceed or follow the government of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The police are allowed to get about their own duties uninterrupted. The minister says this is the change people sought, as now the entire country has become tranquil. The minister questioned as to where the underworld is. After President Gotabaya Rajapaksa was sworn in on the 18th of November, the minister said this is the change people needed.
And the police and the CID conducted a sudden raid in the Lattuwatta in Vanathavilluva in Puttalam yesterday, which is where members of the terror outfit led by Zaharan were believed to have been trained. Investigations revealed that terror groups connected to the Easter Sunday attacks occupied this estate. Thereby, the CID inspected the estate on the 16th of January last year. Yesterday's raid was conducted upon a tip-off received that a suspicious excavation had been done in Lattuwatta. Details were revealed that an unknown person or group of persons had visited the estate, dug up the property at one place and chanted an incantation. The police say they believed the estate would have been dug up, suspecting that monies belonging to the terror outfit were buried at the location.
A stock of gold biscuits worth over 50 million rupees and weighing 7 kilograms has been seized by the airport customs on an individual who attempted to smuggle the stock of the country. 65 gold biscuits were found on the individual who was arrested this morning. The gold biscuits were concealed on the body of the suspect, who is a 40-year-old resident of the Kurunegala area. Investigations into the incident are underway.
Former General Secretary of the United National Party, Tissa Attanayake, convened a media briefing in Kandy today. The former General Secretary of the UNP, Tissa Attanayake, said the leaders of the UNP and the UNF should stop arguing and start working together with haste by understanding each other, because there are just around 50 days or so for the dissolution of Parliament, which will most probably happen on the 2nd of March. Therefore, it is necessary for the party leaders of the UNF to put aside political infighting and carry forward the reformation of the party to give political leadership to a work plan to lead the country. He opined a broad alliance need to be formed in this respect. And a number of civil organizations convened several media briefings today. Gevita Kumaratunga of the Yuthakam organization said whatever the government that comes to power should not submit to political driven by bribes. He called on the political authorities not to complete a constitution only in the interest of the incumbent government. He cautioned as long as President Gotabaya Rajapaksa is in power, the country will be safe. However, a constitution needs to be prepared in which the security and the aspirations of the Sri Lankans are met after the president's tenure. Professor Channa Jayasumana called for the 19th Amendment of the Constitutions to be reversed and for the amendments that are detrimental to the country to be abolished. He says an entirety of constitutions need to be introduced, and until a constitution that is suitable for the people is prepared, the 19th Amendment need to be revised. Professor Jayasumana, stating that they are experiencing the unfavorable side of the 19th Amendment, said the amendment that paves the way for several rulers should not be bestowed on the country's children.
The spill gates of the Girithale tank are being opened as the water which received in the Alahara Dam from the upper catchment areas is being diverted along the right side of the canal of the Yodaala to the Girithale tank. The Girithale tank can be described as one of the main tanks in the Polonnaruwa district and has been identified as the deepest tank in the country. When the tank gets filled to an extent of 21,450 acre-feet, the surplus water is released through the gates of the tank. The Girithale tank has been designed by the engineers of the Department of Irrigation. The water that flows from the tank is released to the min area Timirioya, and thereafter the surplus water is released to the min area Hatamunoya. The Department of Irrigation cautions those using the Oya to be vigilant.
Kurunegala District Secretary Gamini Ilangaratna says an extensive inquiry will be initiated tomorrow into the female Brahmaniladari officer who was arrested in connection with the inhuman assault on a girl child in the Kotavahara area in Nikavaratia. The District Secretary stated subsequent to the inquiry, maximum action will be taken under the law. The child who suffered the assaults is currently receiving treatment at the Kurunegala Teaching Hospital under police protection. Officials of the Child Protection Bureau and Probationary Department recorded statements from the child today for the purpose of reporting details to the courts. The arrested wife of the child's father's second marriage and the sister of the woman who is Zaid Grabadiladari have been remained until the 16th of this month. The child's father was released upon two sureties of 100,000 rupees. The female Grabadiladari officer has been interdicted.
The final rites of the two of the Air Force personnel killed in the aircraft crash in the Habutale area took place today. The remains were brought to their residences after investigations were conducted last night. The final rites of pilot Buddhivi Badage took place at the Thalahane General Cemetery in Malabay amidst Air Force honours. He was a resident of the Hokandara North. The final rites of the assistant pilot Tushanta Lankapura Kulatunga took place at the Vegiriya General Cemetery amidst Air Force honours today. He was a member of the 30th batch of the Kotalavala Defence Academy and was 28 years of age at the time of his demise. The final rites of the team leader Nuan Lahiru Darshana Hettiarachi will take place at the family burial grounds tomorrow. The remains lie at his residence at Telijavil in Matara. He was the youngest in the family of 4 and was 30 years of age at the time of his demise. The remains of the Air Force Sergeant W.R. Vasantakumara were brought to his residence last night, at which a large group had arrived to pay their last respects. He was a resident of the Debaravava area in Tissamarama. Meanwhile, a number of programs were launched to support the Cleaning Sri Lanka project, launched upon a concept of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The Sri Lankan Navy conducted a program to clean the southern coast yesterday. As another step in this initiative, programs were carried out to clean the coastal areas of the Galle Inlet and the Tangol, Paralavella and Idivina. A coast and roadways cleaning program also commenced in Ampara and Pothuwil Divisional Secretariat zones today under the supervision of the PHIs in the area. The contribution of the general public was also received. A quick check on the weather before we go. The Met Department says that a few showers will occur in the eastern and Ua provinces and in the Hambantota district. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the Sabaragamu and western provinces and in the Galle, Matra and Norelia districts after 2 p.m. The department further added that misty conditions can be expected at some places in western, central, Sabaragamu and Ua provinces during the morning. General public has been requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers.
And with that, we conclude tonight's news. Do it just tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.